What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Daysha E.
And it's your boy, Dante.
And y'all already know we are back with a great episode of Culture or Clickbait, where we take the hottest headlines in music, sports, and entertainment, and we determine whether it's for the culture
or simply just for clicks.
Yeah.
Hey.
What's poppin', Dante?
Good afternoon, Daysha.
Good after. It's nighttime.
Nighttime, afternoon, evening. We all in the same economy. It all works.
That. Crazy.
Y'all, welcome to my universe of my brain. You'll never understand it. Don't even try to clock it.
I know it's right.
Now, you got some great news going this weekend.
I do.
My dog got a muse coming out, y'all.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to let her tell y'all, though, what that's all about.
Yeah, no. Shout out to the HBUC. I am the next muse of the month, so that's super cute. And the reason why this is really a moment for me is because when I first came into the fold of being a part of HBUC, I asked Trav specifically, like, can I be a muse and a change agent? And his response back was, you're not there yet. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, true, duly noted. I'm definitely gonna do what I have to do so I can be there. Mm-hmm. So fast forward, probably like a year later, now I'm the next muse. So that's super exciting. And then it was like a surprise for my birthday as well. I thought I was coming to work and style somebody and do makeup touch-ups. And when I walked in the room, everybody was like, this is for you. So that was definitely a moment. So I'm excited to see what the spread is. I actually don't know what anything looked like. I don't know what pictures they chose. I hope they choose nothing with my little side roll out. You know, I just hope that everything is amazing. But I think that everybody behind the whole Muse brand is an amazing group of collective. Amazing group of creatives. Sorry, y'all, brain just scrabbled.
Now, for the people who don't know what Muse is, what actually is a Muse?
Yes. Okay. Now we're in full interview mode, but cool. So Muse is a digital magazine as of now, where they highlight Black women doing great things in each of their respective fields. It's women from all angles of the industry, and not just the industry. You could just be a regular business professional, but it's just to kind of like shed light on women who are making major moves in their respective industries. So I think it's cute. I think it's amazing. We love that. We love Black women. We love everything Black. So I think it's a good way to show how like versatile we are as women and how many different things that we do in all the different fields that we give. So.
Aww.
Oh boy.
I love that for you.
I love that for me too. Y'all run it up.
Run them numbers up, y'all. My dog is going up this weekend. You hear me? Now, while we talking about going up and partnerships and branding and all this stuff, we cannot forget to talk about the one and only Cardi B.
So you guys, we have Cardi B who is making some money moves, and this is very amazing coming off all the other drama that she has had going on. She is having a apparel line as well as a beauty line where Women Wear Daily is gonna release it, as well as Revolve Group. So that is amazing, and I actually love to hear it because there's a lot of drama surrounding Cardi's name right now. So to see her doing something other than being in the mix of mess, we not getting no music, so we gonna get apparel and beauty. Now I think that this is a dope collaboration for her, simply because, for me personally, I think Cardi is somebody that I don't ever really see a moment where she doesn't look what she need to look like. The glam is always there, the hair is always on point, and the fit is always fire to me. Now, granted, some people may feel otherwise, but based upon the comments, once this message was released, Cardi, her whole little Cardi gang, Barty gang, whatever she called her supporters, they're definitely here for it.
Now, if you ask me, I am here for this because seeing Cardi do something like this is like, for me as a fan of Cardi, I would like to see it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we've seen her do other brand deals in the past, like the ones that she had with Reebok. My question here, though, would be, one, if we can get some more context around like what her brand entitles. I'm sure they're not going to give that away right now. Mainly because I want to know, especially from a branding partnership standpoint, how effective it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because we never really actually saw Cardi with a product of her own.
Right.
Specifically, not where she was an ambassador of another product. Is her selling her own products. So
valid.
I would want to know, at least from just the whole conversation of just like partnerships and just branding and coming together with these different organizations, how effectively can we see that working out for Cardi B? And just even from you working in that space as well, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think that depending on the type of line that they try to create, it might be a hit or miss. So, for example, to all my Beyonce lovers, when Beyonce decided to come out with her Adidas collab, it was athleisure wear. So we don't often see Beyonce in athleisure wear. When we see Beyonce, she's pretty glammed up. She's in couture. She's in full glam. So I don't know how much of a hit that really was with pushing athleisure as her brand. Now, I feel like if Cardi does something like she have the Spanish mommy stretchy pants with all the patterns on it and like very like four-way stretch casual stuff, this might work out for her. But we just kind of got to stay tuned because none of this stuff is coming out until later on this year. Right. So we don't really know.
I would say the same thing from a branding standpoint. I can see it being more effective if I see some level of her in the brand, such as her ethnicity, her upbringing, you know, even her being like from the Bronx. Yeah. Just all if I see some type of culture that I can identify directly back to her, then I can it can tell me how effective it'll be because it's real. Yeah. So it's not like we just plastering a name onto a product and because she is a big star, we're saying now sell it.
Right. I get that.
So
it's given to me Fashion Over. And I don't mean that. I don't mean that shady. I mean that as far as like ready to wear, quick fashion.
Oh, she did have a Fashion Nova.
If she does ready to wear,
that went good.
She did, and if she does ready to wear, I think that that's something that'll work out in her favor for real. So that's not always a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to start somewhere, and I think a lot of people start out with ready to wear things. So I'm not gonna lie. I think that this is for the culture, and definitely coming off of all the mess and the drama that she's dealing with her husband. I'm for it.
I'm for it too. Now, you know what actually I'm here for too? Damon Wayans just sat down with Club Shay Shay. And by the record, Club Shay Shay has been on every fucking episode for the last few weeks. Yeah. Club Shay Shay, we're going to need a check pretty soon.
Hello.
We your promotion. Additional promotion. But keep the good interviews coming because that's what we're talking about. So, just recently, Club Shay Shay did an interview with Damon Wayans, and Damon Wayans talked about quite a few different things on this interview. Yeah. Now, I watched the interview. It's about 2 hours long. This is very, very lengthy, but it was a lot of good information that came out of it. One of the things that I thought was very interesting in the interview was that Damon Wayans talked about how he dated his nephew's ex-girlfriend.
Nasty work. Nasty work. I just want everybody to know.
Now, the interesting thing about this is that he said they dated back in 2001. He did not know that it was his nephew's ex until he knew. Clearly, by then, I mean, it was too late. It was good. My dog said he basically had to go to his nephew and get permission because he wanted to know that it was actually okay and that he would grant him the permission to do so.
It's not okay.
Now, if you ask me, this is just my personal opinion. I feel like if his nephew would have said, no, I don't like it, he probably still would have did it. Would have just said, I'm sorry, Neff, I got to do it anyway.
It's crazy.
Clearly. But he did get granted the permission by his nephew to go ahead and date her, and he went ahead and did it. Now, he did say that during this time, family gatherings were a little weird and icky because the nature of the relationship. I don't know, but if you ask me, like I said before, my dog was going to date her regardless because whatever, it was hit. The cookie had to been good.
I ain't going to hold you, my cousin, my uncle, my auntie, anybody, bring anybody that I dated before to the function. We fighting every time I see y'all. I don't care how many times I said, I'm all right with it. No, I got tight every time I saw y'all.
I'm not even going to lie. I don't blame Unc. I blame the girl. Because if Unc didn't know, she knew. Ain't no way you dated a Wayans and you ain't know that was his uncle.
Everybody
ain't no way.
And everybody funny as hell. Ain't no way you didn't know them people was kin.
Right. That's like Beyonce nephew, Solange's son dating somebody, and they don't know that Beyonce is his auntie. If you know Solange is his mom, you automatically know Beyonce is his auntie.
Yeah, you know for sure.
So ain't no way. So hey, now he also talked about his time at SNL. When he worked for SNL, he did get fired, but he said he got fired on the basis of him expressing his own creative control for a specific skit that he had to do. Now, that resulted in, that departure. He also stated that he felt like the show lacked diversity, and because of the lack of diversity, he felt like, quote unquote, it's too white. Now, I will say this, Daysha, and I watch SNL every now and then, and that's my key point. I watch it every now and then. I only watch it when there's people, honestly, who looks like me, or skits that I can relate to that I watch. Other than that, I really don't turn on SNL.
Yeah. I don't either. I'm not gonna lie. It's giving food with no seasoning.
Hot chicken.
It is. It is. And like removing somebody like Damon, you just took all the seasoning about the room. It's just like when you get cold food that was free. It's like, I'm gonna eat it because it was free, but it's cold and it don't taste that good. Versus food that got seasoning, it's like, damn, who made the macaroni and cheese?
Now, you know, his brother, Keenan Wayans, he's actually one of the producers on the show as well. Now, I will also go into more detail and say this when it comes to that situation. I feel like it's more so a moment where he decides, I'm just going to do my job. Because they both might feel exactly the same way. They both might feel in some ways that the network is whitewashed. Or they just have a certain formula that they try to go by, and that's their formula.
A little bit more conservative.
Right. So, if anything, they already have their own platform outside of the show anyway. So we just come on here, we do our job, we do what we got to do, we make our money, we go home, and then we go where we actually have full creative control.
Right.
And we do our own thing. You know, if you ask me, I think that is a good way of looking at it, because I'm one of those people, especially in my personal life, I don't feel the need to force myself to fit somewhere where I don't fit.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I'll come do what you need me to do, and I'm going to go make my own shit and do it over there.
Yeah, no,
You know,
I agree.
I'm not going to force my agenda if I don't have to. Everything is not a, you know.
Definitely create your own arena to do what it is that you want to do. And like you said, go to work and collect your check. Like, why not collect that money? So, I mean, I'm not mad at it. Now, Dante, would you say that this interview was like for the culture, or was it like clickbaity to you?
Honestly, in this situation, I will say, I'm not going to say it's for the culture. Only because I didn't feel like a cultural standpoint that came from the interview. But what I will say, it was good clickbait to me.
Yeah.
And the clickbait meaning it gave people another light on Damon Wayans in a way of, there's a lot of these conversations that he hasn't never really talked about. And me personally, I don't see Damon do a lot of interviews these days.
No,
anyway.
we don't.
So for me, clickbait in a sense of bringing some attention back to him, but not so much cultural to where it made a big cultural difference that he did the interview, or a big impact. Like, he didn't give us nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like if he would have gave us something like, I'm the new producer behind like a really big network, or I got some spin-off shows that I'm bringing back, or
if he would have told me my wife and kids was coming back and he was taking over the CW,
for the culture,
that's for the culture.
For sure.
And CW is a whole nother conversation that we're not gonna get into today, but yeah, we need them programs back.
I agree with this being clickbait though. I don't really have much to say as far as like cultural stances go with it. Now, you guys, speaking of something for the culture, Raven Symone actually sat down with Jason Lee on Zeus Network and had a overdue conversation about her experience as a child star and even just her life as being Raven Symone. She talked about how at 15 years old, she got liposuction and a breast reduction. And she talked about some of the complications that she dealt with after getting those procedures done and just being a child working in an adult industry. She also expressed some of her grievances that she had with her father. And she basically said in his absence of life now, she feel like she can speak out about a lot of other things that she wasn't comfortable speaking about when he was alive. She also stated that she will be releasing a memoir. So she gave us little bits and pieces. And this was a pretty open conversation, but I still feel like she kind of reserved some of the details because she's going to draw everybody in to go and take a look at that memoir for sure.
What I like about Raven, especially when she jumps into her conversations, she always gives enough information without giving you too much.
Yeah.
Especially when she has something coming like right now, this memoir. It is good that she's on this little press tour because she's giving us a whole lot of information that people have been honestly asking to hear from her for years.
Yeah.
Even down to the fact that she has her own podcast. Right? So
with her wife.
Even with her doing this press tour, she's bringing a lot of attention back to her show.
Yeah.
And now some of the things that she expressed in there, such as like her getting the liposuction at 15 years old, she went into detail by stating that she feels like that's why young kids really shouldn't be in the industry.
Right.
Her stance now, looking back, especially without parental supervision, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say I fully disagree with her on that stance.
Yeah.
Because of the fact of we all know how cutthroat the industry can be.
For sure.
And sometimes there is no filter on how they feel you should operate, whether you're a kid or a full adult.
Yeah, because
you're
you have
gaining
a job.
weight, they will instantly tell you you're getting fat.
Yeah.
Lose weight. You tell that to a 10-year-old child, that could cause a whole lot of insecurities and other effects on them in their growing stage mentally.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that there. And honestly, you guys in the comments, let us know how y'all feel too, because I would like to see how y'all feel about that comment as well.
I was just about to say, I actually have my own personal experiences because I, air quote, could be considered a kid star without the star, like being as big as a Raven Symone. But I definitely was a kid that used to go to Disney Channel auditions and Nickelodeon auditions have auditions with y'all. Yes, and I kid you not, they dissect you from head to toe. And I will never forget coming out of a Disney Channel audition where they took my comp card, they dissected everything about me, every picture, the way we took it, the way it was edited, everything. And when I left that audition, I told my mom, I don't want to do this anymore. And my mama was like, yeah, my mama was like, okay, cool, you don't have to, we can move on to something else. And then I went into pageants, and that's a whole nother world. It come with its own drama, but I definitely could understand the idea of it being an adult industry. Now, with this interview as well, she addressed some of the stuff with Orlando Brown, because we all know Orlando is very vocal about his relationship with Raven, the downfall of the relationship, and just his stance on her and how she moves in general. And she has been very quiet this whole time long, but she did give Orlando his flowers, and she stated that he's a star and he's always been a star. He was kind of like second in command on the whole show that she expected to blow up because of how much talent that he had. But we all saw what happened. You have drugs that come in the mix and mental health and all of these different things that play a role to Orlando Brown's downfall. So I think that she did a good job at giving him his flowers, but also critiquing him at the same time and just being real about what their relationship is.
Now, if y'all didn't see, Orlando also, he kind of hinted at him replying to her. Basically, he took her post from the interview and he posted it on his page, and he asked his fans, what was her intent with what she said? Yeah. And all the fans literally let him know in the comments that she was really speaking highly of him, giving him his props. So he also that same day went on his stories and showed a message hinting that he reached out to her team, and there's going to be a possibility of him being on her show. Now, it was not confirmed. He said the conversation has gotten started, but they haven't confirmed on a time or a day when that interview would actually take place.
He literally fell straight into the pocket that she said and her wife said. Like, they said if we reach out to him or if we speak to him, he's gonna make it a public thing, and that's exactly what he did.
Exactly what happened.
Now,
luckily he put it on his story because he knew it wasn't gonna last that long.
Yeah, but the people gonna screenshot it.
They definitely screenshotted it.
His name came up, people instantly probably went and looked up Orlando Brown just to see, because we know him to kind of like be a live wire. Like, he's going to say what's on his mind. So, I mean, I would be excited for them to sit down, because I feel like it's long overdue conversation that they should have.
And the Disney kid in me is roaring because we don't know what he gonna say. He might get on there and say, Ray, remember when
Dante. It's the sign language. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. SOCKS.
But you just told the whole story without saying any fucking thing.
If you know, you know. You know what we're talking about.
Oh my God.
Now, like I say, this interview with Jason Lee was so jam-packed, and this was why I appreciate him sitting down with her, because you could tell she felt comfortable.
Yes.
Because a lot of these things she doesn't talk about. So she even went into detail also about the whole situation about how she feels about being African American or titled as African American. Raven Symone feels as though she's a American woman. She's not an African American woman. She's not put in that box.
She did state Black American.
Black American. Yeah, so not taking away from her black roots, she just says she's not African American. She feels as though she's been in America and her family lineage has been in America long enough to be able to call themselves American and really be that. Now, here's my take, all right? Because so many people are wanting me to have a side, and I don't really know if I really have a side because I can understand what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
God, y'all gonna hate me on the internet, but I cannot be nothing but real, right? She's not wrong in her stance.
Not necessarily.
She's not necessarily wrong in her reasoning. And this is why I say people are people. We all have our own way of thinking, our own thoughts process. We literally shape our experience based off what we go through in life.
Right.
So she's probably so far removed from the idea of the African American experience to why she says I'm a Black American.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know nothing about no Africa. I don't know nothing about my African roots or anything. Now, is there some validity to what she's saying? Yes. I think two things could be true at once.
Yes.
And I think that is what this is. Now, granted, I'm African American, and I'm just speaking for me. But I understand what she's saying, and I think she did a great job at conveying her standpoints on this situation as well. So I mean, the people might chew her up about it. I didn't really see too much turmoil about it in particular.
It's like they wanted to be mad in the comments,
but
and then so many comments said, "Dang,
you got a point." Yeah, it's like I want to argue with you, but I guess. Now, I'm gonna say that this overall interview was for the culture, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because at the end of it, Raven also discussed the fact that they are bringing back some spinoffs, and she will be a producer and director under Disney, bringing back some shows. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna bring back some shows. They're gonna have some new shows, and she said that some of these things will also be like adult friendly. So I feel like this is gonna be like a cool mashup to put on Disney, and just to see it be a full circle moment for her to come back into the Disney world, but being somebody to spearhead it, and with having her experiences that she had, I think that she will be able to be some form of like a protector of those that'll be working underneath her.
Let's be honest, right? When it comes down to the conversation of Disney, Raven has bought Disney a lot of money.
Yes.
From the Cheetah Girls franchise to That's So Raven, to all of the shows that she's been a part of, especially Xenon, most of those shows only did good because Raven's face was in it.
For sure.
You know, even when she came back with her spinoff to her show, Raven's Home, the show did good off the face of her. So, I mean, if you ask me, this whole conversation is for the culture, and I'm loving it.
Me too.
Now, another nostalgic moment that's for the culture is Bow Wow.
Bow Weezy.
Bow Weezy, little Bow Wow. You just don't know.
I wanted to be in that music video so bad. I just want y'all to know that.
My dog, Lil Bow Wow, he's not called Lil Bow Wow no more. Shad Moss, just recently did an interview with Cam Newton on his Funky Friday podcast. Now, they spoke about a lot of different things. One of the things that he spoke about was his time at 106 in Park, and how he's excited also about a possible tour with Ciara. Now, I think that both of those things are dope, right? Him being Mr.106 in Park is already a nostalgic moment. For sure. And so when they even have the conversation about a reboot and him possibly being a part of it in some type of way, I think that is dope. Yeah. You know, because he was a valid part of the show after a while. For sure. Now, some of the other things that he also expressed in there is his co-parenting styles with Joey Chavez and his other baby mother. I'm not gonna say baby mother of his child. He basically talked about how co-parenting with them is honestly not hard. So basically, Cam Newton asked him about like his relationship with them, and he also kind of compared his own situation. And that's when Bow Wow let him know. He's like, "Look, for me, I'm okay. Yeah, you know, it's the best that it's ever been." Now, has he had his problems early on? Yes, but he feels like at this point where they are with the mother of his children, they're like his best friends. Yeah. Long as they stay on the same page, they communicate, everything is good. Now, what I did also find interesting about that interview, because they spoke on his daughter and how she's growing up in the industry and she's starting to wanting to lean into her talents, and he's actually supportive of it. So he hinted that there will be some projects coming up in the next year where both of them will be in it together.
Oh, that's cute.
So I think that is going to be something really, really dope to see and to watch.
I think so as well. Now, also in this interview, Bow Wow talked about his relationship with JD and how JD has been a major father figure throughout his whole upbringing. And he basically gave JD his flowers. He also talked about his relationship with the brat and stated that she's basically like the auntie that come in and check him anytime he got anything going on. And I love the fact that in this interview, I felt like we can see Bow Wow's maturity.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he did a good job with answering the questions and redirecting some of the messy things that Cam Newton was trying to pull out of him. And I think that Cam was riding on the back of old Bow Wow and the stuff that we see get put out about him being a partier and a drinker and all of this other stuff, like a hot boy in a sense. And Bow Wow came in very cool, calm, and collected, like they just having a nice casual conversation. Mm-hmm. So I love that.
And Bow Wow let it be known too, like the Bow Wow that everybody puts him in the name of, that persona, is literally just that. It's just a persona. When he goes home, he's the coolest guy ever. You know, when he's when even in his dating life, like he's really, really chill.
Yeah.
That's just his persona for the character that was built for him after all these years.
For sure.
And since, you know, a lot of this episode, we've been talking a lot about branding. That just takes me back to that conversation of, especially earlier days of this industry where branding was very important. It was what you sold, not so much of what you were.
Yeah, or who you were. Yeah.
It was just a remnant of you, of a part of you. Now, he did express how his upbringing, being next to JD and some of his other father figures like Snoop Dogg, Nelly, and T.I. all had a big place in his coming up in the industry at different segments of his life. Mm-hmm. He talked about his early on moments with JD, how JD used to have a house off at Old National, and it was nothing but like girls there all the time. He said it felt like a music video every day.
He did.
I thought that was actually pretty interesting because it also shows us as well how Bow Wow became that party animal.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he said everything JD had, he wanted and more. So the money, the cars, the girls, the lifestyle, that was what he wanted for himself.
Yeah, that
and
makes sense.
He got it very young.
And that goes back to our statements of having children in an adult industry.
Like, who else do we know who was at Bow Wow age had to go stand on top of a mall roof to get away from a crowd?
That's some cool shit.
Like, that's really cool as fuck.
It really is. Like, I want to run from people like that.
Like, we don't know any other child star that went through that to his magnitude.
Yeah, not at all. Now, in this interview as well, Bow Wow talked about some of his industry beefs that he has had. He was asked about a little bit of everybody from Omarion to Soulja Boy, but one of the biggest ones that kind of was like a bomb was the fact that he and Romeo's beef was industry built. It was kind of like a industry plant thing just to drive sales for both parties. And eventually, at some point, it kind of brewed into something real. Mm-hmm. And Bow Wow also stated that he has much respect for Master P and Romeo, but I just feel like that was one of them things that was like our childhood was based upon you going with Romeo or you going with Bow Wow.
Right, dude, you ruined our childhood.
It's crazy.
You were supposed to keep that under wraps. You're supposed to say, nah, it was what it was.
Yeah, like we would have rolled with it because we thought it was real. And they both dated Angela, so it's like,
right.
It got a little real somewhere. It definitely got
gave
real
a little
somewhere.
beef.
For sure.
A little something. Now, he also, when he was talking about the beef, he talked about this whole Soulja Boy situation and how they was beefing over something that was very, very stupid, like cars.
Yes.
And now he looked back, he said that's like his brother today. Like, he said that beef came and left. Like, it was something so petty, it was so simple, and now they just laugh about it.
Yeah.
Now, Daysha, I honestly think Bow Wow's interview was another one of those clickbait moments. I'm not going to say it's cultural. Mm-hmm. And let me go by telling y'all, cultural meaning it didn't give any cultural significance whatsoever, but that doesn't make it bad.
Right.
I felt it was a clickbait moment because Bow Wow has some other stuff in the pipelines that he's working on. So this is the perfect time to get that attention flowing towards him.
For sure.
So, and I'm not mad at it. Good clickbait.
I'm not mad at it either. I would agree with it being clickbait because there wasn't anything from this that I took and just felt like, damn, that was some real cultural shit. Like, only thing that I could think of that was like somewhat for the culture is Bow Wow's level of maturity and just being able to speak to each thing that was being thrown at him that could have been twisted to be messy. He could have fell into being messy, and he could have fell into like his old Bow Wow ways, but he definitely just showed a level of constraint and maturity with this interview. So I'm not mad at it, but granted, you get good clickbait, my boy.
Yeah, he kept it real cool. Now, while we're talking about Bow Wow, Millennium Tour.
Yes. So you guys, the Millennium Tour landed here in Atlanta for 404 Day, and it was a show to be at, obviously. Atlanta shut it down, okay? It was a little bit of everybody that performed. We had Omarion take the stage, and he brought out his kids to help him perform as well. We got to see his kids dance, and they sung the songs with him and everything. And we had Nivea, who had a nice moment where she was able to get all of her kids together at this show to see her perform for the first time. And they had Rick Ross as well as a special guest. But something that was a major highlight to me for this show in particular was the fact that Plies performed, and Plies brought out Keith Sweat.
Come on, Plies.
It was very cute. It's just like YNs love R&B music too, you know? And Plies is not like a super YN. I mean, he a unkin.
He like a
uncle.
Plies is
yeah, he
definitely
definitely
unk
is
status
an
now. My boy,
1,000%.
you unk status now, but
He's
hey,
definitely
it's cool.
unk.
You the cool unk.
He had a little slow sticking moment on the stage and everything while Keith Sweat was singing. It was so funny, but I love Plies. Plies is like a Boosie for me. He is one of those people that like his energy is just very infectious. Anytime he smiled with them pretty ass teeth and start laughing, whatever he said, I'm for whatever he said. Just look at him. He looks great saying it. So I think that this was definitely a cultural moment, and for it to happen on 404 Day, the city was hot in general all weekend. So for it to happen on 404 Day, I feel like everybody truly came with the energy.
I'm mad I didn't even go this year. I went last year, but I did not go this year.
Yeah, I actually haven't been to any of them.
I wanted to get out.
The originals, yes, but
Definitely wanted to get outside.
not the reboot.
Now, while we're talking about 404 and what's going on in Atlanta, we can't leave without talking about what's happening with Young Thug. So recently, the state of Georgia has attempted to revoke his probation, and Judge Whitaker was not having it.
Nope. Shout out to her.
Basically, what happened was he went on the internet and he basically stated that Marissa V was a big liar, who's one of the DAs. Now, that made them want to attempt to say, because he did that, it made her personal information get leaked online, such as her address, phone number, etc. Now, the judge said basically it was a reach, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because she felt like those things being released had nothing to do with his post at all. But what she did also go on to say was to let Young Thug know to also still be a little bit more cautious about what he posts online, so that it doesn't cause any more issues for him legally.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me, I definitely think that that was a clickbait moment for the DA to try to do something to get him back in jail, or just to revoke his probation altogether, which is not cool. Because all he's doing is expressing his freedom of speech, which is okay.
And he's talking about his experience. So,
exactly.
I mean, if he experienced you being a liar, then that is his stance. Now,
he
granted,
didn't go tell nobody, leak her information.
Right. Now,
and that would be the argument.
And I get that. And I get what Judge Whitaker was basically telling him by, you have to be mindful of the level of influence that you have. Granted, you didn't directly say that, but we know the residual that comes behind your supporters and how they feel about you. So you have to be mindful. And then with him being released, there's certain stipulations on how he has to conduct himself.
Right.
So, I mean, does that come with certain level of restraint where he can't necessarily state his opinion too much on too many things? Yeah. But it's safe to say that Young Thug lives to fight another day.
Right. Go Young Thug.
Yeah, now that's definitely for the culture, because shout out to Judge Whitaker that said, I'm not going for it.
Right, we're not going to even go there. Now, Kevin Gates.
Yes. Now, you guys, there may be a new hot couple on the block, because Kevin Gates and Brittany Renner have been spotted together, and everybody is trying to say that Brittany Renner kind of like manifested this relationship, because a previous interview that she had with Kevin resurfaced simply because everybody saw them holding hands inside of a car while Kevin Gates was singing some songs to her. Now, Some girls are mad. Some girls are happy. Some girls are sad. I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like they're the perfect level of
Toxic.
spicy and toxicity. I genuinely do. I think that it sort of kind of matches. Like, both of them are from the same like religious background. That's one. Both of them go in and out of like Allah and of the world. So I think that they kind of like the perfect blend, and it honestly gives it kind of fun over there.
It does.
It don't give it fun.
It gives fun.
It's giving very
If y'all know what's fun.
It's giving very spicy. It's
Now, from a female standpoint, let me
just
ask
saying.
you: do you think that women are only mad because it's Brittany and her whole reputation in the industry?
I think they are. But I feel like, one, you got to give people a little bit of grace. Just because she lived her hoe out loud and you lived your hoe in silence, a hoe is a hoe is a hoe is a hoe. So
what Betty Wright say? You did the same thing I did. You just know me. I don't know you.
That's it. That's all. She stood on her hoe. Y'all had y'all hoe. So I think that I don't really see the problem with it for real. And then when it come to Kevin, like, he's very expressive and he's very open with like his sexuality, kind of in the same way that she is. That's why I think that they kind of are like twin flames in a sense. Now, can this end up with a very toxic like blow up, or does the toxicity go from being like spicy and kind of cute and spontaneous to this shit crazy? It can, but I mean, we kind of gotta like lay around for it, because
Kevin Gates give me have a good day love type of breakup.
No, he give me bitch being noble. Stand up on your toes. That's what it's giving. And bitch, Brittany is doing it. Breathe through your nose is what she's doing. I'm telling y'all. They like the perfect little mashup. That's why I'm not mad at it, because I can see it. I probably could see it a little too clear.
That is hilarious. If you ask me, I ain't gonna lie. Kevin Gates and Brittany, y'all for the culture right now. Y'all are getting that from me today. Y'all are getting that today.
Lucky.
I give it to y'all.
For the culture of toxicity. Sorry.
Right. Now, while we're talking about stand up on your toes, Ciara has dropped a new single called Ecstasy. My dog, we can see why.
Cinco on the way.
Exactly. We can see why he ain't pulling out. So if y'all didn't know, she just released the visuals for her new song Ecstasy, and my dog say,
you can't let that part.
my dog say she got good punani and she claiming it.
Obviously, 4 kids in and loading up on the 5th one. Yeah, it's giving. It's pretty good.
It's giving. Let it simmer. Let it marinate. Just a little.
And my God, falling off the bone.
Who else got some new music?
Oh my God. Now, there is a lot of good music out right now, but we also have Rod Wave, who just dropped Sinner, which is actually supposed to be the soundtrack for the Sinner movie. Mm-hmm. So that's really dope. And the same person that directed the movie directed Rod Wave's actual music video. Now, the song as a whole, I think is a good song. I really do. I'm gonna even give it a little better than good. I'm gonna give it a little great, simply because Rod is one of those people that give you feels, and he make you feel. And with this movie being dated back in like a slavery time frame, I think that Rod is kind of like the perfect person to embody like the emotional aspect to the situation. And I think that this is actually gonna be one of those songs that helps him expand his career in a sense. Mm-hmm.
I think they actually made the perfect choice by choosing Rod Wave. He already gives us emotional feels. He already gives us like that vibe that makes you just want to like cry.
Yeah, literally.
And even though the song ain't make me want to cry, no, but it sounds like true Rod Wave fashion.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when they had the little reel where they were showing the video of how it goes along with the actual movie, it was perfect. So if you ask me, I'm down for it. Now, what else I'm down for too is the fact that Tory Lanez has also just released a song dedicated to his son, Dear Kai.
Yep.
Now, I listened to the song as well.
Hard.
I almost cried.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Heart-wrenching.
That was kind of hard to listen to.
Yeah.
Because he got really emotional. And, you know, we already seen a little bit of his emotions from the tape, his album. But this time, it was like, I'm talking to my child.
Yeah. It was definitely a different level of vulnerability. Like, he literally had a whole conversation with his son. And I feel like it's one of those songs that, like, when his son is old enough and his son listen back to it, I feel like it'll help his son with some of the grievances that he probably will feel from his dad's absence. And I think that is something that's gonna like help save their relationship, because the reality of the situation is an incarcerated parent, you do start to feel some type of way about their decision making or the things that they chose to do. So the fact that he talked about his finances being frozen so he couldn't do certain stuff and not being able to be there on Christmas, and just making sure that he remind his son to be his mother's protector and to look over his other siblings, like he really did a good job at writing this song out without it being too technical to dissect, but it still being just on point to get his whole point across of being a dad and being in the situation that he's in.
And now, for lastly, on our music doc for the day, we got GloRilla, Miss Glo Pimp, fucking off on her ops.
Crazy. Crazy. Do the song hit? Yeah.
Yes.
It do. The concept of the song, crazy. But I like this song simply because I think that Glo told us a story from beginning to end. Like, she literally gave us the full-blown scenario. Like, my cousin done hit up one of his boys before. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of in love with the nigga. I know y'all ops. I dissed him in the club, throw up middle fingers and shit when he in there, but I'm texting him like, hey, you still up? So I think that she did a good job at, like, creating a storyline to make everybody, like, understand the whole concept of the song. And in the visual that she just recently dropped, she put Skilla Baby in it. And the girls love Skilla Baby.
Yeah, Skilla Baby is hot right now.
They really do love him. I don't know what it is that y'all see by that red man, but I like his voice. But he was a good addition to have in the video, just simply because he hold it down for the girls, but then he also, like, it's kind of thug life in the same breath, you know what I'm saying? And I think that they are like a good mashup to see together.
It is. I think all our music today is definitely cultural.
Yes.
I don't think we had any no Lil Lane bops this week.
No.
Everybody pretty good.
Everybody did hold it down this week, and I'm very proud of y'all, because music can sometimes get there.
Right. Now, y'all, thank y'all for watching again. Once again, this is another great episode of Culture Clickbait, and I am your boy Dante.
And I'm your girl Daysha E.
And y'all know what we do. We take the hottest in sports, music, and entertainment, and we decide if it's for the culture
or simply for clicks. I got nails today.
And that's all. Make sure y'all go follow us on the HBUC on all platforms. Bye. Starbucks.